Hello, this is Lauren Delsack, and welcome back to the Draconic Chart. Let's take just a quick review of what we've learned so far. We can calculate the Draconic Chart from the natal chart using the true node, or the mean node if you prefer, but I think you'd have better results with the true node. And we can study the Draconic Chart by itself alone, focusing on the Draconic Sun, the Draconic Moon, that blend, and also looking at the Draconic Ascendant and the Draconic Midheaven. And you can also focus on the planet ruling the Ascendant in the Draconic Chart, what sign is it in, and what house does it rule, and the same with the ruler of the Midheaven. And from that, you can come up with some creative statements and also integrate it with the natal horoscope, looking at also the Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Ascendant Ruler, Midheaven. We also took a look at the Aries point. The Aries point is a very prominent point in the horoscope, which the energies of those planets or points that fall at the Aries point will be brought forward publicly. Now, in the Draconic Chart, different planets and points and even midpoints will fall on the Aries point. So it's interesting to look at that and to look at you can calculate a midpoint sort from or off of the Draconic Chart. I would focus on the two midpoints, which are Midheaven, Ascendant, and Sun, Moon. But again, you can take this as far and as in-depth as you would like to. Remember again that the Draconic Chart, all we're doing is it's changing the degrees and signs in which the planets and points fall, and those planets, of course, remain in the same houses, and the patterns or configurations between the planets in the natal will be the same as they are in the Draconic. If you've been experimenting with your own horoscope, the Draconic Chart, or those of people that you know, then you can start to see these influences in yourself and in other people. And again, you can spend as much time as you want with the Draconic Chart alone, because the more you study it, I think the more you're going to come up with some very, very interesting insights. What I'm trying to do is show you how not just to overdo it. Let's say you're planning or preparing a consultation for a client. You have enough work in preparation with the natal horoscope, so we're just looking at what you could zero in with the Draconic Chart that might add a nice flavor to that person's character. Let's move into now the synastry between the Draconic and the natal horoscope. First, we'll set it up with putting the natal horoscope in the inner wheel and the Draconic on the outer. Later on, we'll take a look at reversing those two positions, because you can come up with interesting ways of seeing things when you reverse it and put the Draconic on the inner and the natal on the outer. But for right now, let's just stick with the natal on the inner and the Draconic on the outer wheel. As I mentioned before, you can access this through the internet if you want at astro.com, astro.com. Bring up your Draconic, and you can also bring up the double wheel with natal inner and Draconic outer. If you have Solar Fire or Matrix Windstar Plus, this will also allow you to calculate the Draconic Chart automatically. Now, the most important contacts are predominantly conjunctions and oppositions from a planet in the Draconic to a planet or angle in the natal. Draconic planets falling on natal angles suggest that those energies will take center stage in analysis. It's a good idea, like I will demonstrate to you in the horoscopes that come up, to draw circles around the conjunctions and draw lines to indicate the oppositions. Now, in terms of orb, I recommend that you keep them pretty tight. When we're looking at conjunctions to the angles, you can widen the orb a bit, maybe to 7 degrees, because anything close to a Draconic planet, close to a natal angle within that 7-degree range, is going to be important. Perhaps on the orbs of the oppositions, you can keep it under 4.5 degrees. But the tighter the orb, the better. If not, you're going to lose focus on what contacts are the most important. Draconic planets conjunct the ascendant or the descendant suggest planetary forces that are coming in at ascendancy at the time of our birth. Therefore, they are critically important influences and energies for the soul's entry into this incarnation. Much will be said about any planet conjunct the ascendant or descendant in terms of identity awareness, projection, and interaction with the world. Any planet conjunct or even square the midheaven and the IC axes will speak about one's awareness of the world in terms of status and reputation and profession. Now let's consider what is being brought into awareness for these famous personalities that have draconic planets conjunct or opposed the ascendant or midheaven. Actor Jack Nicholson has draconic Venus in Leo conjunct his natal ascendant, suggesting a theatrical view of himself, which is spurred on by a dramatic, socially charismatic identity presentation. Perhaps a theatrical exploration of romance as well, seen through his persona on the big screen. Actress talk show host Oprah Winfrey has draconic Neptune in Capricorn conjunct her natal ascendant, which is at the Aries point in Sagittarius. So we could say that identity awareness and public interaction is through the expression of her opinions for what is right and to affect thought through business administration, Capricorn, in the medium of television, Neptune. The draconic Sun Venus in Aries is opposed her natal midheaven in Libra, which suggests the energy to lead, motivate, and exert force is done through a creative social outreach in the arts, Libra. Back to Michael Moore's horoscope, he has draconic Pluto in Scorpio opposed his natal midheaven, and that suggests he needs to get to the bottom of it all, to bring out what's being hidden under the surface, to transform people's perspectives through his profession, and which he does in his documentary films. Mega mogul, business mogul Donald Trump has draconic Saturn Venus in Taurus conjunct his natal midheaven. So there is a strong awareness of creative business administration to build structure and preserve security through his profession. Renowned psychic Sylvia Brown has draconic moon in Pisces, how appropriate, opposed the natal midheaven. So there is a need to understand impressions, to work with the intangible, with intuition through her profession. Consider these performers who have draconic Neptune or strong Piscean influences in contact with their natal ascendant or midheaven, and this suggests artistic talent, show business, and film through Neptune Pisces. David Bowie and Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones have draconic Neptune opposed the natal ascendant. Carlos Santana has draconic Neptune opposed his natal midheaven. Cher has draconic Neptune conjunct her natal ascendant. Also Uranus and Pisces conjunct her natal midheaven. Melissa Etheridge, draconic Uranus in Pisces opposed the natal ascendant. Both women show their eccentric avant-garde side through the arts. Comic genius Robin Williams, draconic Neptune conjunct his natal ascendant and square his natal midheaven. Marlon Brando, draconic Neptune opposed his natal midheaven. Magician Uri Geller has draconic Neptune conjunct his natal Leo midheaven. So you get what I'm trying to say. Check it out in charts that you have, your own chart. Look for planets that fall, draconic planets that fall on natal angles. We'll see you on the next talk. Thank you so much.